OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to this week's Friday Night Smackdown review. You are here with Just G on a Saturday morning because of course we are UK fans. I'm here to give you the lowdown on everything that happened on SmackDown this week, so stay tuned if you want to know what happened. Also, before we do get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video and leave us a comment down below. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into this week's SmackDown. So first off, we are greeted by Nick Aldis, who has stood in the ring, and you can see next to him a podium with the Queen of the Ring crown on it. He welcomes us to SmackDown and then he introduces Nia Jax down to the ring. So Nia Jax is walking down to the ring and the crowd are booing her so heavy. They are not happy that she's here. They are not happy that she's won. I am very happy that she won. I was very happy for her. So Nia gets down to the ring. Nick Aldis congratulates her on her win of Queen of the Ring. And she takes the crown and the mic from Nick Aldis. So she's then like, let's get some facts straight. It's a fact that I am your queen. It is also a fact that I get a title shot at SummerSlam. And then she demands Bayley out to the ring. She's like, as your new queen, I demand you out here now, Bayley. Bayley enters and starts walking down to the ring. She has a mic in hand. She has her belt. Before she even gets to the ring, she is violently attacked from behind by Piper Niven and Chelsea Green. Bayley doesn't get a chance to say anything. She's no chance to defend. She is literally down and out. So Chelsea then jumps up on the ring with Piper and says to Nia that you don't have to worry about the about Bayley, because you won't be facing Bayley at SummerSlam. You will be facing my tag team partner Piper Niven. And that basically tells us there that Bayley is going to be facing Piper Niven at Clash at the Castle. As we all know, Piper is Scottish, so that is probably why they are using her and pushing her at this point, because they use, like, WWE like to use the hometown wrestlers in their like countries. So of course we're going to get a lot of Drew McIntyre, Piper Niven at this point, which is great. I'm really happy that Piper's getting this shot. Do I think she's going to win? No, I still think we're going to see Bayley versus Nia at SummerSlam. But then Nia goes on to say, I don't give a damn who the champion is because I'm going to be the champion by the end. So yeah, that's our opening to SmackDown this week. So we then move on to a backstage segment, which is Nick Aldis and AJ Styles. So as we know, last week AJ Styles asked for another shot at Cody and Nick said no, basically. You need to work your way to it, you need to earn it. So AJ comes to Nick and he's saying, I thought about what you said to me last week. So if there's time this week, I'd like to address my future in WWE. And Nick is like, AJ, is there something you need to tell me? And AJ's like, this is too hard. I don't think I could do this twice. So let me just do it in the ring. And Nick's like, yeah, there'll be time. Throughout the entire episode of SmackDown, we are led to believe that AJ Styles is going to retire. And heavy hell, that episode, it was so sad, but we'll get into that later. So as it stands, AJ Styles is set to retire, and I'm not much of an AJ Styles fan, but I know he has done a lot for the company, and I still welled up a little bit at the thought of AJ Styles retiring. But yeah, so then we go to another backstage segment of Bayley in medical, just having her shoulder checks from where Piper attacked her. And Naomi comes up to her and says, girl, this isn't right what they did to you. Are you ready to fight tonight? Bayley looks to the medical guy and says, I can fight tonight. And he's like, yeah. And Naomi's like, cool, we're going to show them what we've got. And she's like, I'll go speak to Nick Aldis now. So obviously Naomi then goes and speaks to Nick Aldis, and they have set up Chelsea Green and Piper versus Naomi and Bayley later on this evening. So that's cool. And then we move on to our next match for this evening, which was Tommaso Ciampa versus Austin Theory. Of course, Ciampa comes out with Johnny Gargano and Theory comes out with Waller as their respective tag teams of DIY and A-Town Down Under. But this is a solo match between Ciampa and Theory. So we start the match. Ciampa is in control from the beginning. He corners Theory. He's not giving Theory much of a chance to move. He hits a chop and then jumps mid-rope and constantly is like punches to Austin Theory. The crowd are counting those punches as they normally do. And then Grayson Waller jumps up on the apron beside where they are in that corner, and Ciampa just hits a punch to Waller, which then gives Austin Theory a chance to like go underneath and move out of the way. At this point then the control has completely switched sides to Theory. Theory has control and he's not giving Ciampa much chance to do anything. So it was a very one-sided person match. So it was like Ciampa at the beginning, then Theory, and he's not giving them much chance to move. Eventually Ciampa hits a drop kick to Theory and he's back in the game. He's ready, he's up. He hits a flying clothesline to Theory, which was pretty damn cool to see. Ciampa is targeting Theory's neck at this point. He's like, he knows there's something there, and he's like, target, let's hit a weak spot. So Ciampa is setting up that fairy tale ending, but Austin Theory manages to counter and he throws him off. Austin Theory goes and does a couple of moves on Ciampa, and then he attempts to pin Ciampa, but Ciampa does kick out. Both are going for punches. They're holding each other and they're punching and punching. They're kicking, they're colliding, they're going for it. They both seem to have like the same move. Like they're thinking about doing the same move, but they're colliding because it's like punch, but they're colliding, kick, but they're colliding. Then the commentary team mention that Theory used to be in the way with Johnny Gargano, Ciampa, and obviously Indy and Candice were in this faction as well down in NXT. So they mentioned the way, and they're talking about how far Theory has, like how Theory probably misses being in the way and stuff like that. And Grayson is like ringside, stood by the commentary team, and he starts kicking off that they've mentioned that. They're like, why did you say that? Theory is only relevant now because of the Grayson Waller rub. And Theory heard this, and you can see his face stood ringside. He's like, why did you say that? What? Why would you say something like that? Because Waller has distracted Theory at this point with what he said about the Grayson Waller rub. Ciampa from behind, he rolls up and 1, 2, 3, pinned Austin Theory. So Tommaso Ciampa actually won this match, which is pretty cool. We like to see that. So yeah. And then they did later on in the show us that we are going to get the opposite side next week on SmackDown. We are going to get Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. So that'd be really cool. I really would like to see that as well. It's nice to see the tag teams having single matches as well, because as much as they are great as a tag team, it's good to see them do their individual work too. So we then are greeted by Apollo Crews, and his opponent is Santos Escobar. No, it's not Santos Escobar. Please ignore me. It is Andrade. I'm thinking about Santos Escobar because of what I'm going to say next. So as Andrade is making his way down to the ring, we see a little backstage segment of Angel walking up to Andrade, and he's welcoming him to SmackDown, and he's like, I've had a word with Santos. I've had a word with Elgado Del... I can't speak today. Elgado Del... Yeah, he spoke to them, and he's like, we've got room for you, we're willing to forgive you, you can join us, we want you to join our faction. And he's like, thank you, but no thanks. And so I'm a bit confused what's going on there. Of course Andrade would be a good component to have in that faction. He's a very strong dude. Anyway, so we go on to the match between Apollo Crews and Andrade. I'm a bit like confused because I thought this match was going to be a squash match, but it wasn't a squash match at all. It was a very good match indeed. So we start with both of them going in on each other. Apollo eventually goes for a bounce off the ropes and hits Andrade with an insane drop kick. It was like boom. He didn't even see it coming. Anyway, I don't know why I did that. So Andrade spots Angel walking down the ramp, and he's a bit confused why he's here to distract him, what he's here for, we're not sure. That does give Apollo the opportunity to take advantage of the distraction from Andrade, and he does go for a kick to the head, causing Andrade to fall out. Apollo then flies off the apron onto Andrade. Andrade gets back up and hits a crossbody from the top rope to Apollo Crews. At this point, they've both got a hold of each other round the necks, like round the necks, and they're both punching each other. So they're like opposite. So one's holding this side, one's holding this side, and with their other arms, they're punching each other in the ribs, proper going for it. There was a bit more back and forth in this match. Angel is just circling the ring, watching what they're doing. Andrade then hits a forearm to Apollo Crews, and then Apollo hits a German suplex to Andrade. Angel at this point jumps up on the apron to distract Apollo Crews, giving Andrade the chance to get up and move again after being hit with that German suplex. Andrade goes for a spinning back elbow onto Apollo Crews and then hits him with the Message, which I believe is one of Andrade's like finishing special moves. And then he attempts to pin Apollo Crews, and 1, 2, 3, Andrade is our winner. Angel is very happy for him. He's jumping with joy, jumping with joy. We then see Humberto, Santos and Elektra Lopez of Legado del Fantasma. One day I'll be able to say it. Make their way out to the top of the ramp to, obviously, they're trying to induct Andrade into their faction. And as Andrade's walking down the ramp, Angel's like, yeah, come on, we're going. Andrade walks straight past them, and he's not interested at all, doesn't even acknowledge any of them, just walks straight past them. Santos is looking a little bit annoyed. He's like to Angel, you said he would be here, he would be with us, but that didn't happen. So our next match is we have both the T's, Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa. That is really hard to say really fast, versus the Street Profits. But before we get into that, we had a little backstage segment of, so we see Solo and both the Tamas, both the Tongans, they're all Tama, Tonga and Tonga Loan. So I'm going to call them the Tongans, both the Tongans. And then Paul Heyman comes, so he's talking to Solo, he's saying, there's been a lot of violent acts recently from you guys, but they've not been authorised and stuff like that. And then Paul Heyman goes on to say, I've been thinking about how I can better serve you while you're in charge, while Roman's not here, while the Tribal Chief isn't here, while you're in charge to Solo. He's like, before with Roman, any acts of violence were thought out and there was a lot of counselling and stuff before we agreed to do them. And it was always for family. The violence was never to hurt, it was always for the family. And he's like, you're bringing two very violent, dangerous people into the bloodline. And then he's like, me and Roman always thought about the people we brought in. He's like, the strategy should be to have Cody in check, ready for Roman's return. And then Solo's like, we already have Cody in line. We already have Cody in check. And he doesn't even know it. And then Paul Heyman's, you can see the like worry in Paul Heyman's face, and he's like, I don't even want to ask, but who is we? And then Kevin Owens' music hits, and Kevin Owens makes his way down to the ring. And Solo turns to Paul Heyman, and he's like, you need to go and sort this. You need to go and fix this now. So yeah, Kevin Owens has made his way down to the ring. He's sat on the ring, on one of the little corners. And he starts talking. He's like, so I went to Saudi to have Randy's back, because over the last few years, Randy has had my back. And I wanted to make sure that the bloodline didn't ruin his chance of becoming King of the Ring. And he's like, here we are now. Randy is not King of the Ring. And we all saw what happened. And we know Randy didn't lose that match. He is not here tonight. He's at home resting up. But I do know who is here tonight. Solo. So Kevin Owens is out for the bloodline, because obviously they're just the bloodline. They're just the bloodline. So Paul Heyman makes his way down, as we know, at orders of Solo to go and sort this situation out. So Paul Heyman is like, I've come to talk to you man to man, you know, father to father, etc. He's like, he says to Kevin Owens, you as a true threat to him. Oh yeah, he's like, I was just reading my notes and I wasn't sure what I actually wrote. He's like, so Roman always had respect for you, Kevin, as a threat, as a wrestler, as a person. Roman had respect for you because you was a threat to him. And he's like, Solo has no respect for you, and he's just recruiting criminals into the bloodline. Roman turned them down before because we did background checks on them and they wasn't worthy of being in our bloodline. They are just bloodthirsty thugs looking for a fight. And he's like, they're not looking for a reason to take you out. They're looking for an excuse to take you out. And that's bad for you. That's bad for WWE. That's bad for me. He's like, I like you in WWE. The crowd love you in WWE. If you keep calling out Solo's name, there will be something bad happening to you, Kevin. And there's nothing he can do about it. He's like, I'm not standing here warning you. I'm standing here begging you to step away from these dangerous people. And you can see the proper worry in Paul Heyman's face. He is so, like, shook up and disturbed by everything that the Tongans and Solo are doing. So then we go on to what Kevin Owens has to say, and he's like, you really want me to believe that you're out here trying to help me, trying to save me? Why would I trust anything that you ever have to say? He's like, I know you're behind all of this. I know you're the one pulling the strings. Roman isn't here, so you're the one controlling the whole of the bloodline. Everything they're doing, you're the one behind it. And then he goes on to say, I've fought the bloodline for 4 years. 4 years I've fought the bloodline. And then he lists off a bunch of things that the bloodline have done to him, tying him, handcuffing him to ropes, running him over with a golf cart, you know, all these things that the bloodline have done to him. And he's like, I still had a great time doing it. But that was the good bloodline. The bloodline, you know, Roman, Jay, Jimmy. And he's like, Solo isn't the bloodline. He's just Solo and 2 guys, you know. That's not the bloodline. He's like, I don't want to know them and I don't want to fight them. He's like, I don't want to know them and I don't want them here, but I will keep fighting them just to get them out, to get them gone, basically. He's like, I don't want your help and I don't need your help. And yeah, he like went in on Paul Heyman. And then Paul Heyman is like, I'm not trying to help you, I'm trying to save you. You know, people redeem themselves, people become better people. Why can't people believe that I've changed? I'm not this horrible, nasty person. I'm genuinely here to save you. Paul Heyman literally goes off on one about, he's like, I don't have any other motives. I'm just here to help. And he's literally like having a hissy fit about how nobody believes that he's trying to save Kevin Owens. And in that attempt, he literally throws the mic out of his hand and it hits Kevin Owens. And the rage in Kevin Owens' face right at that point, he's like ready to explode. Paul Heyman backs up and he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, I'm sorry. Kevin Owens goes for Paul Heyman, and at that point Solo and the Tongans literally appear out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, from the ramp. They appear from the ramp. And as they walking down towards Kevin Owens is ready for that fight, but then the Street Profits jump up in ring beside Kevin Owens, and yeah, we move on into the match between the Street Profits and the Tongans. Solo and Kevin Owens are not involved in this match. It is a tag team match, but we did see Kevin and Solo go at it down the ramp a little bit before we went into the tag match. So yeah, let's get into the tag match. So we start off with Montez Ford and Tama Tonga. Montez is going in on Tama Tonga very quickly. He is like boom, 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 and then Dawkins is tagged in within seconds. Dawkins is tagged in and he goes to grab Tama Tonga by the head, and then tags Montez back in. And once Montez is tagged back in, they go for a double suplex to Tama Tonga. Dawkins does go for a cover, but Tama does kick. So then we have Tama Tonga throws Montez over the rope. Tanga Loa. This is going to be really confusing saying their names because they sound so familiar. Tanga Loa throws him into the barricade and then back into the ring, where Tama Tonga goes in with punches to Montez. Punches. He then does a sliding clothesline to Montez. He gets back up and he goes for another sliding clothesline to Montez. He then tags in Tanga Loa, and then he does a power slam to Montez, but then tags Tama Tonga back in. There's a lot of tagging in this match, like literally all the time. Someone else is being so quickly as well. Like they just pat them on the back. Sometimes you don't even see it until the announce team are like, well, they just tagged in. So Tama's tagged back in. He throws Montez over the ropes. No, he jumps over the ropes onto Montez, sorry. And then he goes for a cover, but Montez does kick. Montez is cornered. Tama Tonga is flying off the ropes. Montez actually manages to dodge this and jump up and tag Dawkins in. After taking a good beating from both the Tongans, Montez actually finally gets that tag in. Dawkins goes in. He's cornered Tama. He's going in. He splashes into a cover, and then Tama does kick. He throws Tama towards Tama Tonga. No, he throws... Oh my god, their names are so similar. He throws Tama Tonga towards Tama Loa, and Tama Loa tags himself in off the shoulder. Again, if you didn't catch it, it was so quick. Dawkins flies onto Tanga Loa, who... No, Dawkins flies onto Tama Tonga, who then Tama Loa jumps in and hits a clothesline onto Dawkins. Unaware of the tag, Dawkins did not see this coming at all, because he, obviously, as I said, he literally tapped him on the shoulder, so he wouldn't have even seen the tag. He hits a suplex to Dawkins. Dawkins is then thrown out of the ring, head off the announce table. And then Tanga Loa throws Dawkins towards Tama Tonga, who takes him down. Just takes him out, takes him down. So yeah, that was a bit of a hard one announcing these names. Whew. So back in the ring then, Tama goes for a drop elbow to Dawkins. Dawkins actually rolls out of the way of this. Dawkins hits a suplex to Tama Tonga, who then tags in Montez Ford, and Tama Tonga tags in Tanga Loa. So there was a double tag swap at this point. Montez goes in on Tanga Loa, punches, kicks, clothesline. He's not giving him a chance to do anything. Dawkins is then tagged in, and they hit a blockbuster to Tanga Loa. He goes for the cover, but Tama Tonga breaks that cover. This is so awkward to say all these names. Oh my god, why can't they just have like one-worded names where it's easy to say? So Tama Tonga breaks it. Dawkins throws Tama Tonga out of the ring. Dawkins then throws Tonga Loa back into the ropes, but Tama is back up and he tags himself in again off the shoulder. Again, Dawkins didn't see. It's so unfair how they could just literally tap their shoulder and that's a tag. Dawkins tags, Montez goes for the frog splash. Tama Tonga enters the ring after the pin, after the tag that wasn't seen. He goes for a face buster to Montez. Montez wasn't aware that Tama Tonga was the one that was legal. He pins Montez, 1, 2, 3. The Tongans win. Tama Tonga and Tongan Loan. This is so awkward to say, like when you're reading as well, it's really, really awkward. But yeah, so the Bloodline took the win on this one. I would have liked to have seen the Street Profits win, but of course we can see that the Bloodline are just violent and showing their dominance right now. So yeah. So we then move on to the next match of the evening, which was our women's match, Bayley and Naomi versus Piper and Chelsea, which was really cool because this was the main event. I love that the women are getting the main events on SmackDown and stuff. It's great to see. Okay, so we start with Bayley and Chelsea. Bayley goes in on Chelsea. She's like, punch, move. Chelsea's like, not having this, tags Piper and in straight away. So yeah, so Piper and Bayley are giving each other punches. They're going for it, punches. Piper throws Bayley into their corner and she squashes her in the corner, and then Chelsea taps Piper and tags herself in. You can see the little bit of anger that Chelsea from Piper that Chelsea has just done this, but she's like, it's my turn now. Piper is holding Bayley. Chelsea goes for a super kick. So then Piper moves out of the way and Bayley goes for a suplex to Chelsea. Bayley gets back up and moves back. Naomi taps herself in. Bayley goes for a sliding clothesline to Chelsea. Naomi comes in and does a quick thing with Chelsea, a couple of moves, and then Bayley tags in and they both throw Chelsea towards the ropes, but she's like, I'm not bouncing back, and stays there. So both go and they like whip her over and throw her out of the ring. Naomi goes for a suicide dive through the ring onto Chelsea, and then she's punching her down on the pad. She's punching Chelsea, punch. Right, we are back up in the ring and we are on Bayley and Piper are the legal components right now. But Chelsea decides to tag herself back in at this point. Chelsea's punching Bayley. She's going for Bayley. Punches. Chelsea's quite smart, you know. She's got Piper on her side. She goes in once Piper has like taken them down. But yeah. So Piper clicks. Blah, blah, blah. Word vomit. I literally can't speak today. So Chelsea's in. She's giving punches to Bayley. Piper hits a clothesline. Chelsea covers Bayley, but Bayley kicks. Chelsea attempts to go for another cover, but Bayley kicks again. So they've got Bayley cornered and Piper tags herself in. Bayley manages to dodge Piper, she's then trying to get Naomi, trying to tag in Naomi. So then at this point, she manages to tag in Naomi and Chelsea is also tagged in. So Naomi kicks Chelsea a few times and then she jumps up on the top rope. She does a crossbody, a drop kick to Chelsea's chest, and then onto a moonsault into a cover, but Chelsea kicks. Naomi from the top rope pushes, Piper comes up from behind her and pushes her off from behind. She didn't see. And then Chelsea moves into a super kick to cover, but Bayley manages to break before the count finishes. Chelsea's looking to set up for her Unpretty Her, but Naomi counters it into a rear view, covers, but Piper breaks the cover at this point. Piper moves Naomi, throws Chelsea Green over the top of her. 1, 2, 3. Chelsea wins. What an ending to that match. Literally, Piper was like, I'm not having any of this. Boom, drops Naomi to the ground, throws Chelsea over the top of her so that she's got her pinned. But yeah, that was that match. I am so sorry for all my word vomit today. I literally can't speak. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, so we move on to the AJ Styles segment of this evening. AJ's retirement. I literally got so choked up through this. It was wild. So we see AJ walking through the backstages. We see LA Knight, he nods to him. He sees Cody Rhodes, he gives him a little handshake and then looks like he's saying something in his ear. And then he keeps walking, and then Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are stood there and they have a little hug, and he's like, come with. So they go with him. So AJ makes his way down to the ring with the OC, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. So he gets in the ring and he obviously has a mic and starts talking. So he says, I've been thinking about the things Nick Aldis said to me last week when I asked for another shot at Cody. And he was like, if I want another shot, I have to go to the back of the line. You know, I have to earn it. I have to work my way up again. And he's like, I've dwelled on it all of this week. I've really had a thought about it. And he's like, at this point in my career, at this point in my life, I can't do that. I can't go to the back. I can't work my way up again. He's like, I've been doing this for 2 decades now, all over the world, blood, sweat and tears, just so I can become the phenomenal one. And then he talks about his family life and how his son's just graduated and how it was so nice for him to be there, and to be with his family. And he's like, maybe I shouldn't be the phenomenal one anymore. Maybe I should go be the phenomenal father. And he really is going for this retirement speech. He turns to Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and he thanks them. He's like, without you guys, I wouldn't be here. You know, without you guys, you're better than my friends, you're my brothers. And he's like, one last time. And they all do the too sweet in the ring. And it was like, I'm not a big AJ Styles fan, you guys know this. And I'm literally welling up at this point. He says, before I came down to the ring, you guys saw me whispering in Cody's ear. I asked him if when I call him out, he would come down to the ring. So he calls out Cody. Cody makes his entrance. He comes down to the ring. He says to Cody, the match me and you had at Backlash was one of the greatest matches I've ever had. And if I was going to have my if I was going to have anything as my last match, that would be the one. The crowd was electric. It was phenomenal. And he's like, this is still the house AJ Styles built, and I'm here to give you the keys to the house. And then Cody has a mic in hand. He's like, AJ, we've only ever exchanged one text, and that was after Backlash. And your response was, all good, little bro. I'm saying this on behalf of myself and that entire locker room behind us, that you have been a big brother to over the years. Thank you, AJ. They hug, and you can see, like, the welling in their faces. Like, they are so good at acting as well. I suppose it's part of their job, isn't it? So we have a little celebration then. Cody's literally grabbing AJ's arm and throwing it up to every, like, corner of the crowd. And as he goes to throw it up one time, AJ Styles hits Cody with a clothesline. I knew deep down that this wasn't the end for AJ Styles. Oh my god. So he hits him with a clothesline, he's punching him, he throws him out the ring, he throws the steel stairs at him, he then gets up on the steel stairs with Cody, he hits a Styles Clash off the steel stairs onto the mat to Cody, and it looked so painful. It looked painful. And you've got the OC stood at the end of the ramp stopping the officials, the refs, Nick Aldis from getting past to let AJ do what he needs to do. And then it cuts off and that's the end of SmackDown. So I can't believe that AJ Styles had us like the entire way through believing that he was... I genuinely was fooled. I thought he was going to retire. Like, I really did. But so I was convinced he was going to retire, but a little part of me was like, I can't see this being the end for him. Not like that, not like out of nowhere. But yeah, so it's obviously not AJ's retirement. He's definitely coming back with a bash. He's going to go after Cody. He's going to get what he wants. I actually thought he might announce that he was going to go back down to TNA for a little bit because of the whole cross we've had with TNA, or make an appearance on TNA. So if you guys don't know or don't watch NXT, Jordynne Grace showed up on NXT last week and she is going to be fighting Roxanne Perez for the championship bout at Battleground next week, which I'm very, very excited for because I am a very huge Jordynne Grace fan. And I really want her to win. Really want her to win. So I love the fact that there is a lot of TNA stuff coming up, and I hope it's opening for more TNA to come over and WWE talent to go to TNA, because that would be cool too. But yeah, so that is everything that happened on SmackDown this week. I hope you enjoyed the review. Again, I do apologise for my word vomit. I will try to be better next week. I need to try and find a new format for writing my notes for the shows so that I can actually understand them. Imagine not being able to understand your own notes. But yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. We do weekly Raw, NXT and SmackDown reviews. We also do weekly podcast episodes where we will either talk about predictions or do some fun wrestling games. So if you like that kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you here. If you have any suggestions for episodes you would like to see, also pop them in the comments. We are also available on Twitter/X, Instagram and TikTok at Outcasted OC. You can find all the links down below. You can also find the links to our individual social pages, mine, Ross, Reese and Courtney's. We are all available on TikTok, Instagram and X. So yeah, go and find us all over there. But yeah, for now, that was everything that happened on SmackDown this week, and I will catch you for the next one.